Hey, yo.
You know what it is. It's your guy, Rhett, Butler, and this. Well, this is that pretty left hook. Hitting you in your goddamn liver. Full. Man, check this out. Tommy Fury. There's only one Tommy Fury. I'm going to join the singing parade, man. Shout out to Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury had the whole world of boxing on his shoulders for one weekend in Saudi Arabia. Now you're like, Red, what are you talking about? Tommy Fury fought Jake Paul, the problem child. He called him out for 2 years, maybe even longer than that, maybe 3 years. But 2 times they were supposed to fight, and it didn't happen. And Jake said, oh, Tommy's scared of me. And you know, Jake, he does real well with the trash talk, the social media, everything involving hyping an event. Right? He does great. He's amazing with it. He's a problem with it. Tommy Fury had to rest with this the whole time. You know his big brother, half brother, Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King. This man is like heavyweight royalty, literally. Daddy, bare knuckle fighter, John Fury. These guys are gypsies. They moving old school. They're like Brad Pitt's character from Snatch. I mean, they got a whole different kind of energy out in the UK, these Fury guys. And their last name is Fury. And they were furious because they want Tommy Fury to carry the torch and the legacy that they've built. So with him against Jake Paul, it was literally the first time that Jake Paul's fighting a quote-unquote real boxer. Somebody that boxes first. Not MMA, then boxing. Not social media, then boxing. Not basketball, then boxing. Just a straight boxer. And coming from a boxing family. And if Tommy Fury didn't win that fight last weekend in Diriyah, Saudi Arabia, with a commemorative WBC belt on the line, with rankings in the cruiserweight division for one of the winners, okay, I mean, there's a lot going on. Mauricio Suleiman, WBC, World Boxing Council, for those who slow. President was there, commemorative belts, the king of Saudi Arabia, the prince of Saudi Arabia, making this thing happen. I mean, this is a big deal. Big deal. And Tommy Fury had to now face an enigma in the problem child. Now, when I say enigma, I'm not talking about running through Jake's tape and figuring him out. I'm talking about the fact that Jake has always found a way to win. Whether it was knocking fools out, or his last fight against Anderson Silva, which I personally saw as a draw, but he won the fight, right? When the history reflects, it's going to say he won the fight. Tommy Fury, not an older man, also undefeated, and got the team of life, if you're talking about boxing, because his daddy was a bare knuckle fighter, his brother is a current active heavyweight champion, on the verge of being undisputed. You know, if he faces Alexander Usyk in the future. So the whole boxing world was looking at Tommy. They said, Tommy, really, Tommy? His own daddy said at the press conference, if Tommy doesn't win this fight, he doesn't deserve to be in the boxing business. I mean, you talk about pressure. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I went on the Up on Game show with LeVar Arrington, Plaxico Burress, and TJ. And I thought that Jake Paul was going to knock Tommy Fury out in 6 rounds. I'll keep it real with you. I did not believe. I didn't believe. It wasn't because I didn't know Tommy Fury was capable of beating Jake Paul, but I thought Jake Paul was getting into his head, and I thought his family pressure might have busted that pipe. That's what I thought. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. But when I saw the fight, what I saw was Jake Paul swimming in an ocean without a raft. For the first time, Jake Paul looked like he did not have the answers to the problems he presented. And Tommy Fury, with volume output, power punching, and overall ring gentlemanship, he won the fight. It was a split decision victory, but 2 out of those 3 judges saw Tommy Fury as the victor. And even though he caught a knockdown in the final round in the 8th, meaning Tommy got knocked down, Jake didn't do enough. They both got a point deducted throughout the fight, so that happened, so it evened it out. But at the end of the day, Tommy Fury showed Jake Paul the difference between fighting and boxing. And boxing needed Tommy Fury to do that, because as the social media fighters now start to dominate the landscape and create their own lanes, which, by the way, sideshow or not, it is what it is and it's here. And if people are buying it, it's going to keep getting on television and keep doing what it needs to do in arenas. But boxing needed to validate itself, because there is something to be said about lineage. There's something to be said about being true to the form of the art. Period. And if anybody can just pick up some gloves and learn the sweet science within months, that's not saying much about the sweet science.
Hey,
but what we now know is at the end of the day, regardless of if you jump in this ring or not, skills will always pay the bills. You still got to give Jake Paul props. Now, we're going to, listen, I like Jake Paul, okay? But at the end of the day, he did say a little bit of excuses, a little bit of shenanigans, even though he tried to back end it. Like, I'm not saying excuses, but he said his arm was hurt, said he was sick in the camp. He said a couple things. We know that Jake Paul's never tasted defeat in a boxing ring on a professional level. So it's an ego bruise, right? And he talked hecka trash about this guy. I mean, he went so hard. He tried to get in Tommy Fury's head for years. But Tommy had that fortitude. And I think it was probably the opposite of my initial belief. I think his family fortified him. Yeah, I didn't know how he was going to react to the pressure of his dad, living up to his brother's, larger than life ethos. Literally, Tyson Fury's a big man. But he did. And that stage was huge. Saudi Arabia, you got a whole country backing this? That's huge. That's huge. Your co-main event is Badu Jack versus Junior Ilanga Mabaku.
Hey, yo.
Makabu, excuse me. Listen. Salute to the Congo. This was real. Tommy Fury knew this was real. He did what he had to do. For boxing, I'm happy, right? Because, again, it's not that I don't enjoy what Jake Paul is doing and what he's putting together. I actually can appreciate what Jake Paul's putting together. But we have to always remember one thing. Skills pay the bills. And there's going to be guys that put in a little more work, a little more time. Jake Paul has a hell of a chin. Jake Paul is fearless. And Jake Paul knows how to sell himself and sell any event he's a part of. And now Tommy Fury has done what Jake Paul has done to opponents before. Jumped off into the spotlight. My name is Rhett Butler. This is the Pretty Left Hook. And you are watching the Up On Game Network. Man, shout out to all my boys, man. Blanco, Vito, Cardo, Dustin, and of course, the big homie, Var Arrington, my guy. Listen, check out him, TJ and Plax, and your boy Rhett at times when we talk about them fights on the Up On Game show on Fox Sports. You already know what it is with the Pretty Left Hook. Check us out, IG Pretty Left Hook Podcast, at Rhett E. Butler. That's me, man. And, oh, shit, Twitter. Look at that. We got you covered all the way around, fool. You know what it is. It's your guy, Rhett Butler, man. And, you still don't know shit about boxing, but Tommy Fury saving it for you.
Ha ha!